Good morning, everyone, and welcome, everyone here at the Abbey and also online. Our weather today is disastrous, and the roads are very icy, and there's some people that we are expecting to see come soon. So we're going to start now simply by doing our prostrations together. We'll do the Buddhist Buddha mantra for just a short while. We won't wait too long, but we want to make the space for people to safely get up the hill so we can all be together when we start this. Okay. Shall we start with the 3 prostrations? Om Namo Manjushriye Namo Sishriye Namo Tamashriye Soha. Om Namo Manjushriye Namo Sishriye Namo Tamashriye Soha. Om Namo Manjushriye Namo Sishriye Namo Tamashriye Soha.
Tayatam bekanze, maha bekanze, raja samungate soha. Tayatam bekanze, maha bekanze, raja samungate soha.
The mantra is on page 43 in the red book.
Bekanze, maha bekanze, raja samungate soha. Tayatam bekanze, maha bekanze, raja samungate soha. Tayatam bekanze,
46.
maha bekanze, raja samungate soha. Tayatam bekanze, 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 maha bekanze, Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samungate Soha.
So again, we welcome everyone here and everyone who is here with us online. And we're here to remember and to celebrate the profound wisdom and great compassion appearing in the form, in the guise of our kind teacher, Geshe Dadul Namgyal, Tenzin Chodrak. And to make prayers that we may hear the nectar of his Dharma teachings again very soon. In a talk that Geshe gave a few years ago, we printed it online, but one of the things he said about a friend's death, he said, "My friend's death gives a very strong message that every one of us, without exception, is subject to the phenomenon of eventually leaving the world. In fact, there's nothing depressing about it. It's a good thing to come and go," he said. "Otherwise, there wouldn't be room left for anything new, and it would be terrible for all of us. The main thing is for us to accept this and be able to use it judiciously, use it in tune with the Dharma. In that respect, all it takes is to be kind and wise in the present moment. That's all we have." So in light of that eventuality for us to accept leaving this world, the Abbey learned this morning that yet another of our dear teachers passed away today, January 21st. Venerable Mingja from Taiwan. She was the abbess of the Manjushri Vihara in Taiwan. She helped to ordain 5 of our most senior nuns, serving as the acharya. So with her help, with her really important help and her guidance and her encouragement and so forth, she's one of the Taiwanese bhikshunis that we have relied on so very much and has contributed so much to the Abbey. So while today the puja is, of course, specifically for our own Geshe Dadul, we will also hold in mind a wish for Venerable Mingja to also take a quick rebirth and continue her amazing work of sharing the Dharma and benefiting others today. So we'll all do this together. So here's the outline. Today we'll have a brief sharing focusing on Geshe, which Venerable Sangye Kadra will give, and then she will we'll have a sharing also from Venerable Nawang. Then Venerable Sangye Kadra will lead the puja. Venerable Simke will give us a couple of words about Venerable Mingja as well. And then after the puja, Venerable Damcho will also give a sharing, and then we'll close by reciting the King of Prayers in a short video. So that's the program for today. Logistically, there will be the slides of the King of Prayers recitation online. There will not be the Medicine Buddha puja slides online. Is that right? Yeah, so there's a link in the chat box for the people online to access the puja in that way. And then people online can also, we've set up a tributes page. That link will also be in the chat box where people can share their thoughts, because there's no, since you can't share, you can't be here, you can share there, okay? So, Venerable Sangye Khadra. You can put it on.
So probably most of us met Geshe when he was already all grown up with a Geshe degree and a job at Emory University. And we may not know much about his earlier life, how he got where he got to. And so in preparation for this puja today, I wrote to Tsepak La, Geshe-la's brother who lives in Atlanta, and asked if he had any photos, any stories, any details about, the early part of Geshe-la's life. So he was able to share a few photos and stories. So I put together a little slideshow. And so again, this is to celebrate a really, really wonderful and very meaningful life of Geshe Tenzin Chodrak, also known as Geshe Dadul Namgyal. So Geshe-la's life started in Ngari, Western Tibet. That's the part of Tibet where the famous Mount Kailash is located. And he was, so way over on the left side, just so you get to know. And he was born in 1959, and that is the year that they had the Tibetan uprising in Lhasa, after 9 years of being ruled by the Chinese communists, and things had just gotten unbearable. And that was the year that the Dalai Lama and many lamas, monks, nuns, and lay people fled to India and other neighboring countries and settled there. So Geshe-la's family also left at that time. And it's not completely sure if he was born in Tibet or in India because his birth certificate actually says Sandhu, UP, Uttar Pradesh in India, and that's the first border place in northern India where his family landed when they left Tibet. In Tibet, they didn't have birth certificates, and they probably didn't even know the date, So he got his birth certificate when he came to India. But it seems that he may have been born in Tibet, but he was just a baby, small child when he left. So Geshe-la's family fled to India in 1959. And this photo was taken during that journey. Geshe-la's father is the one on the far right with the sort of kind of like cowboy hat on. And the other people in the photo are relatives. So this was taken during their journey. And it seems that many people from that area traveled together. And they didn't travel by airplane or a nice, comfortable bus. They walked. I think that's how most, probably all Tibetans left Tibet. They walked. And that was probably, took days, weeks. They had to climb over the highest mountains in the world in all kinds of difficult conditions. So not an easy, and little children with them. Okay, next. So after their escape to India, Geshe-la's parents worked building roads in Himachal Pradesh, which is the north western part of India. Many Tibetans ended up doing that. I'll show a slide next. And so that meant they were living in tents and moving around all the time. And so the children were sent to a Tibetan refugee school in Kalimpong. And so in this photo, Geshe is the smallest child on the far right, the lower level, that's Geshe. Next to him is Tepag, his brother, and the girl behind is their sister. And yeah, so Kalimpong is on the far eastern side of India. The parents were on the far western side of India, building roads and living in tents. So they probably didn't see each other very much. Parents and children probably didn't see each other. But I think that in the school, the kids were looked after by, Tibetan adults, including lamas, and they had to play the role of mother and father as well as teacher. Later, Geshe also went to school in Shimla, which is in the same state where his parents were working, if they were still working on the roads then. So maybe they were closer at that time. And so the next slide is just a photo of Tibetans building roads in India in the 1960s. So I found out that about 18 to 20,000 Tibetan people were employed doing this. And it was hard work, digging, breaking rocks, carrying rocks, building roads. But at least they were safe out of Tibet, and they probably had food to eat as well. So I think the government of India organized this work, and they also organized the schools where Geshe went. Okay, next. This is another photo of Geshe from Venerable Rinchen. A little bit older. This is before he got ordained, maybe 16, 17. So this was probably the early or mid 70s. And he told us that before he got ordained, he wore a Beatles haircut and striped bell bottoms and platform shoes. Okay, so fast forward. So in 1976, Geshe joined the Buddhist Dialectic School in Dharamsala. This is a school where the monks study the traditional Tibetan philosophy and debate and so forth. And he did this at the advice of his Dharma teacher at school. I think he was 18 when he joined that school. And Sepa thinks he also got ordained in that year as well. He got ordained by the Dalai Lama. And so this was in Dharamsala. So he was living in Dharamsala. And I'm not sure how many years he stayed at the Buddhist Dialectic School, but eventually he transferred to Drepung Monastery in South India, where he completed his studies. And he graduated at the top of his class. This is his class in 1992 or 1993, not quite sure. And I think Geshe is in the middle, first row, middle, small one. And we only learned that he was the top of his class from Geshe Lundrup, who's one of his classmates. And I think he came in number 2. So Geshe came in number 1. And looking at these photos, like quite a few of them are much older than him. So it's really impressive. And also Geshe Larampa, there's different kinds of Geshes. And Geshe Larampa is the highest level. They study an additional 6 years on top of however many other 15 or so years that they study to become Geshes. And it's really intense. They have to memorize many texts, they have to pass exams, they have to debate and so on. So it's really an impressive feat to become a Larampa Geshe and then to be at the top of your class. And he also obtained a bachelor's in psychology and also a master's degree in English from Punjab University in Chandigarh, India. The next photo. So this picture was taken in the early 90s at the Dalai Lama's house in Dharamsala. Geshe is at the bottom right, looking extremely happy. And he and these other monks from Drepung had just returned from one of their fundraising tours of America. And I think Geshe made a few of these trips, so he got quite familiar with American lifestyle, American culture, and so on. Okay, the next slides. So after graduating from Drepung, Geshe had several positions in India. He was the principal of the Drepung School. He was professor of philosophy at Central Institute of Higher Tibetan Studies in Sarnath, India for 7 years. We don't have pictures from that time. He worked on various projects for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then in 2010, he moved to Atlanta, where he held several positions at Emory University. He also taught at the Emory Buddhist Club, which I think is the next picture. Beautiful venue. And he also worked on preparing a bilingual science curriculum to be used in Tibetan monasteries and nunneries. So he did a lot. And I think the next slide, yeah, here he is with them. Science lab. The next slide, I think, yeah. So this is in Israel. There was a trip to Israel to a physics teaching center in February 2020. And you may recognize the person with the turquoise scarf. She doesn't look like that anymore. Here she is. Okay, then Geshe kept close contact with his family. So here he is with Tsepag, who's on the left, our left, and Tsepag's wife Tamdrin, who visited us during Thanksgiving. And then another nephew, maybe his sister's son, I guess, and his family. So this was in New York in 2018. Next. So it's not only human beings who will miss Geshe. This is Kipo, the family dog. He belongs to Tsepak and Tamdrin. And whenever Geshe would visit, he would bring something for Kipo and play with him. And so, yeah, Geshe was Kipo's favorite playmate. So these are just a few of Geshe-la's many accomplishments that we can rejoice in. Getting the Lhorampa Geshe degree, being a professor of philosophy at this institute in Sarnath for 7 years, then working in Atlanta, where he was senior resident teacher at Drepung Losling Monastery, senior translator with the Center for Contemplative Science and Compassion-Based Ethics at Emory University, produced a 6-year English and Tibetan science curriculum, wrote articles, books, translated for teachings, translated books, taught Dharma in many, many places, including Sravasti Abbey. So after the puja, we will have another kind of video slideshow showing Geshe-la's activities here at the Abbey. So there's a lot to rejoice in, and also rejoice in our good fortune that we were able to meet Geshe, this really extraordinary, wonderful person. Thank you.
So as we all know, Geshe came to the Abbey, and he came here to resume full-time monastic life. Upon arriving here, he offered a puja for which he wrote 4 aspirations to guide his time here. And so now it's up to us to carry these forward and to do our best to put them into practice and to embody them. And so in Geshe-la's words, for all kind sentient beings to be temporarily relieved from their short-term and long-term hindrances, such as sickness, old age, and death. And through successive higher rebirths, may they continue along the path until they attain full awakening. Towards that end, may the complete and pure Dharma be available to all seekers in all 3 times and in the 10 directions. Towards that end, may kind and genuine Dharma teachers, led by His Holiness the Dalai Lama and other eminent spiritual mentors, including Bhikshuni Thupten Chodron, have long and healthy lives, so that they can accomplish all their Dharma activities without hindrances and fulfill all their Dharma aspirations without exception. To support and sustain that, may all seats of Dharma succeed in accumulating enough merit through their genuine endeavors of learning and study, contemplation and meditation, and service to others, so that they can become true guides and resources for all of humanity, and by extension, for all sentient beings for all times to come.
So even though it is a glorious celebration of Geshe-la's life, as Venerable Chuni said, we also lost one of our Vinaya elders, Venerable Mingja. And just to say just a few seconds here is that, you know, Venerable, in her incredible wisdom and her karma, has had a deep relationship with the Bhikshunis from Taiwan. And Venerable Mingja was one of those when, as soon as we needed to do ordinations and we didn't have another senior bhikshuni, we need 2 of them to do a novice ordination. We need an upajjhaya who does the precepts. We need an acharya who gives the instruction, what to do now that you have ordained. And Venerable Mingja was the acharya for 5 of us elders bhikshunis during the first years. But when we had, we're starting with Chenrezig Hall, she was so excited. And what she said was, she said she believed from the get-go that this community had the tenacity, had the practice, had the virtue to be able to bring the Dharma to the West, and to also to grow the Vinaya, to grow the monastic community. She never failed. She never, you know, fumbled at all on that confidence, because we had Venerable Children as the guiding light in the Vinaya. And so as she came and we started growing slowly, and she kept seeing this, she said, I have absolute faith in this community. And so we have her as our inspiration as far as our monastic discipline, as far as our ordinations and how to hold them. She was a great source of inspiration for the whole community. So we want to keep her in mind and also celebrate her incredible contribution to the growing of this community as well.
Okay, so now we'll do the Medicine Buddha Puja. And some people might wonder why we're doing Medicine Buddha Puja, because, you know, we tend to think of that as, you know, for healing people who are sick. But it's not only that. It's also done to clear away obstacles. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche said that it's actually the best practice to do when someone is dying and also after they've died, to ensure a fortunate rebirth. And here at the Abbey, we have been doing Medicine Buddha Puja every month for a couple of years now. I think we started during the pandemic to support those who were ill and those who were dying and their loved ones and those who have already passed away. So this is a monthly practice, and this is our monthly Medicine Buddha Puja. And so we're doing it for Geshe, for a fortunate rebirth, quick return, and Venerable Mingja, and a number of other people who have passed away recently and whose names have been sent to us. So, and you can also, those who are joining, if you have people in mind who are in need of special prayers, then you can think of them and imagine that we're doing this practice on behalf of all of them. Okay, it starts with a visualization, and you can just close your eyes and I'll describe the visualization and just do the best you can to follow along. So, to ensure that this practice really is as beneficial as possible for ourselves and all other sentient beings, bring to mind that motivation, the bodhicitta motivation, that we're doing this practice with the final ultimate goal of becoming a Buddha ourselves, fully enlightened, so that we can be of the greatest possible benefit to all living beings, helping them emerge from suffering and the causes of suffering, afflictions, karma, obscurations, and to help all sentient beings achieve genuine, lasting happiness, and the causes of that, which are virtuous states of mind, virtuous activities, and help all sentient beings to eventually reach the state of full enlightenment as well. So now imagine that in the space above your head is the Medicine Buddha, facing the same direction as you. He's sitting on a seat consisting of lotus and moon, flat disk of light representing the moon. And he's sitting in the full lotus position. His body is made of blue light, kind of dark blue or royal blue, totally transparent and luminous. And he's wearing the robes of a monk. So his right hand is in the gesture of giving sublime realizations. That means it's resting on his right knee and holding the stem of a plant called an Aurora plant. It's medicinal healing used in Ayurvedic medicine. His left hand is resting in his lap in the gesture of concentration, the palm facing upwards. And resting in his palm is a bowl made of lapis lazuli and filled with medicinal healing nectar. His face is peaceful, smiling, showing an expression of infinite love and compassion for all living beings throughout the universe. He has all the signs and marks of a Buddha, meaning his mind is exactly the same as the mind of Shakyamuni Buddha and all the other Buddhas They all have the same knowledge, qualities, realizations, abilities. So just do the best you can to have this visualization above your head, and don't worry if you're not able to get all the details or if it's not very clear. Even if it's just a kind of vague blob, that's fine. The important thing is to feel that the medicine Buddha is there above your head, and feel you're in the presence of all these amazing, wonderful qualities. And then thinking of the medicine Buddha as representing all three jewels of refuge, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we then recite the prayer of refuge and bodhicitta and the four measurables. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I have awakened in the Buddhas, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By the merit I create by engaging in generosity and the other far-reaching practices, I will attain Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free of suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings not be separated from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment, and anger. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind to Guru, Medicine Buddha, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate all the virtues of myself and others to the Great Awakening. This ground anointed with perfume, flowers strewn Mount Meru, foreland sun and moon, imagined as a Buddha land and offered to you. May all beings enjoy this pure land. The objects of attachment, aversion, and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, my body, wealth, and enjoyments, I offer these without any sense of loss. Please accept them with pleasure and inspire me and others to be free from the three poisonous attitudes. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryataya. I request you, Bhagavan, Master of Healing, whose sky-colored holy body of lapis lazuli signifies omniscient wisdom and compassion, as vast as limitless space, please inspire my mind. I request you, compassionate Master of Healing, holding in your right hand the King of Medicines, symbolizing your vow to help all the sentient beings plagued by the 404 diseases, please inspire my mind. I request you, compassionate Master of Healing, holding in your left hand a bowl of medicine, symbolizing your vow to give the glorious undying nectar, Dharma, which eliminates the degenerations of sickness, aging, and death. Please inspire my mind. We'll do this next prayer 3 times. I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings to the fully realized destroyer of all defilements, completely perfected Buddha, who has realized the ultimate nature of all phenomena, Medicine Buddha, the King of Lapis Light. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. I prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings to the fully realized destroyer of all defilements, completely perfected Buddha, who has realized the ultimate nature of all phenomena. Medicine Buddha, the King of Lapis Light, may your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. Prostrate, go for refuge, and make offerings to the fully realized destroyer of all defilements, completely perfected Buddha, who has realized the ultimate nature of all phenomena. Medicine Buddha, the King of Lapis Light, may your vow to benefit all sentient beings now ripen for myself and others. So once again, focus on the Medicine Buddha, the space above your head, and imagine that in response to your request, infinite white rays of light stream down from the heart and the body of the Medicine Buddha, King of Medicine. So you can imagine it being like a waterfall pouring into the top of your head and then filling your entire body from head to toe, filling every cell, molecule, atom of your body. The light purifies all disease, afflictions due to interfering forces, negative karma, mental obscurations that cause these problems. All anxiety, fear, and negative emotions are also purified. And imagine all of these negativities leaving you in the form of dirty liquid, which then completely disappears. It becomes non-existent. Your body becomes the nature of light, clean and clear like crystal. Once again, light streams down from the Medicine Buddha into the top of your head, filling your body completely, bringing with it realizations of the path and all the good qualities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Your mind is transformed into love, compassion, wisdom, and all other good qualities. Now imagine that surrounding you are all other sentient beings, or as many as you can think of and imagine. But good to at least have the wish for all sentient beings to be here with us and benefit from this practice. And above the head of each of these sentient beings is a medicine Buddha, just like the one above our heads. And if there's any particular people you know who are in need of help, who are ill, or dying, or recently died, you can imagine them kind of right in front of you. Focus particularly on them. And then from the medicine Buddha above the head of each of these beings, again, light, stream of white light flows down like a waterfall into the tops of their heads, filling their bodies completely. And first it purifies all their physical and mental problems like illness, negative emotions, karma, and so on. So all that gets flushed out of them, becoming non-existent. Their bodies become, in the nature of light, clean and clear like crystal. And then a second time, the white light flows down from medicine Buddha into the bodies of each sentient being. This time it brings all the realizations of the path and all the good qualities of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And the minds of all these beings become filled with those positive qualities, transformed into those qualities. So continue doing these visualizations while we recite the mantra. We'll recite it out loud together 21 times and then continue silently on our own for a little while until I ring the bell.
Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekanze Bekanze Maha Bekanze Raja Samagate Soha Tayata Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Maha Bekkanze Raja Samungate Soha 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 Om Bekkanze Bekkanze Maha Bekkanze Raja Samungate Soha
Eta Om Bekande Bekande Ma Bekande Bekande Radha Samagate Soha. Now visualize the medicine Buddha above your head, melting into light, becoming just pure light, which then descends and comes through your crown down to your heart. And imagine your mind becoming non-dual with the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas, the fully enlightened mind of all the Buddhas. So you can imagine your mind totally transformed, becoming free of all obscurations and fully developed in all positive qualities. We do have this potential. One day this will definitely happen. So imagine it happening now. And imagine the medicine Buddha above the head of each sentient being around you, also melting into light, dissolving into them, coming down to their heart, and their minds also become totally transformed. So your mind and the minds of all other beings now experience infinite love, compassion, and wisdom and all other positive qualities. Okay, now I'll dedicate the merit of this practice, sharing it with all sentient beings, just as we motivated to do so at the beginning. Due to this merit, may we soon attain the awakened state of medicine Buddha, that we may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhi mind, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. Just as Guru Medicine Buddha with compassion guides all sentient beings infinite as space, may I also become a compassionate guide of sentient beings existing in all directions of the universe. So we're also going to recite the King of Prayers, which is another practice recommended for someone who's passed away. But before we do that, Venerable Damsha is going to read something written by our friend Rashika in Seattle.
So our dear friend Rashika sent us this beautiful vision of where she likes to imagine Geshe-la's continuity might be. And I just remembered too that when Venerable Mingja came here to the Abbey for the last time in 2013, which was for my ordination, she also talked about how to create the causes to be reborn in Amitabha's Pure Land. So we can keep her in mind in this visualization too, and anyone who you might be making prayers for. So here are Rashika's beautiful words. I like to imagine Geshe-la being reborn in Amitabha's Pure Land Sukhavati, arriving there seated upon a fully open lotus with his wonderfully big and bright smile, joyously waiting to hear the teachings directly from Amitabha himself. I imagine Geshe-la being overjoyed with the sight of all the living beings that through great effort achieved a wonderful rebirth in a Pure Land. I imagine Geshe-la and the other beings in the Pure Land preparing their offerings for the Buddhas. I can see Geshe-la complimenting the other beings on their offerings, saying how wonderful their offerings are, and that the Buddha will surely be pleased. I imagine Geshe-la inviting others to make offerings to the Buddha with him. I see his wonderful smile growing bigger and brighter as he rejoices in the virtuous activities taking place and all the merit that will be used to progress along the path, all the while dedicating the merit from his own rejoicing in the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings, dedicating this to the awakening of all sentient beings. I see Geshe-la discussing the Dharma with other beings in the Pure Land. Despite having an ocean of Dharma wisdom, he always has utmost sincerity and humility, expressing that this is just from his limited understanding, advising them to constantly request teachings and to contemplate those teachings. He would encourage them to openly discuss the Dharma with other practitioners and request guidance from the wise ones and to always trust their practice. I imagine Geshe-la smiling, listening in awe of how the wind blowing against the trees magically sounds like an endless number of sentient beings chanting the Diamond Sutra. I see Geshe-la with single-pointed concentration, enjoying a brief moment of stillness, listening to the birds singing the Heart Sutra in perfect harmony as they fly overhead. I imagine Geshe-la looking up at the clear night sky, being reminded of the clear light mind that all sentient beings possess, our true Buddha nature. I imagine the water of the rivers in Sukhavati. The waters are pure, clean, sweet, and nectar-like. There are an endless number of precious gems on the riverbeds, the water symbolizing the clear nature of the mind. The jewels that rest on the bed instantly give rise to feelings of great joy and comfort, reminding all that the three jewels are a reliable source of refuge. I imagine Geshe-la receiving a prediction of his awakening directly from Amitabha Buddha himself. While in the Pure Land, he gives rise to the awakened mind and achieves full awakening. Now possessing every good quality imaginable and having developed them to their fullest extent, now being able to join in all the enlightened activities of a Buddha, now having gained the ability of swift, magical, and limitless emanations, now having given rise to his omniscient mind, he takes rebirth after rebirth into all the samsaric realms. There he expertly teaches the holy Dharma. With his wonderful smile, big heart, great sense of humor, and joyous effort, he vows to take rebirth in samsaric realms until all beings achieve the true peace of nirvana. Thank you, Geshe-la. Hopefully, I'll get the opportunity to sit across from you in the dining hall and discuss the Dharma again soon.
Okay, so this King of Prayers, it's kind of long if you're not familiar with it, but it's incredibly beautiful. It was actually an expression of the Bodhisattva Samantabhadra, expressing the aspirations of a Bodhisattva. And so some of the things mentioned in Rashika's beautiful poem, I guess you could say, will be repeated in this prayer. And so Venerable Kunchok made a really nice presentation, a slide presentation with pictures, so you can read it from the screen or from the red prayer book as you choose. Hard to read. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you lions among humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualized before me, I bow down. On every atom are Buddhas numberless as atoms, each amidst a host of bodhisattvas, and I am confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas, and celebrate all of you gone to bliss. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, fearless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers, hearers still training, and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of worlds in 10 directions, who have attained a Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize her nirvana, please stay with us for eons numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have created by paying homage, offering, and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions, and all you gone to freedom in the past, accept my offerings. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakening as fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath the Bodhi tree. May as many beings as exist in 10 directions be always well and happy. May all samsara beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remembering my past lives in all varieties of existence, may I practice the Bodhisattva way, and thus in each cycle of death, migration, and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life. Then, following in the footsteps of all the Buddhas, and perfecting the practice of a Bodhisattva, may I always act without error or compromise, with ethical conduct faultless and pure. May I teach the Dharma in the language of gods, in every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and of demons, and in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating the 6 paramitas, and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission every negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in the world, free of karma, afflictions, and interfering forces, just as the lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as the sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. May I ease the suffering in the lower realms and in the many directions and dimensions of the universe. May I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening and be of worldly benefit to them as well. May I practice constantly for eons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the various dispositions of beings, showing the ways of a bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose path is like mine, and with body, words, and also mind, may we practice together the same aspirations and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor and never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the Bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, masters encircled by Bodhisattvas, and without pause or discouragement for eons to come, may I make extensive offering to them. May I hold within me the Buddha's genuine Dharma, illuminate everywhere the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of the Bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future eons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, and liberating stabilizations, gathering limitless pristine wisdom and merit. On one atom I shall see Buddha fields numberless as atoms, inconceivable Buddhas among bodhisattvas in every field, practicing the activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of eons. Thus I am continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word, the completely pure eloquence of all the Buddhas, communication suited to the varied tendencies of beings. With strength of understanding, I plunge into the infinite awakened speech of the Brahma, of all Buddhas and 3 times gone to freedom, who continually turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future eons, then I will enter into all eons of the 3 times in but a fraction of a second. In one instant I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future alliance among humans, and then with the power of the illusion-like stabilization, I will constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the array of pure lands present, past, and future. Likewise, I shall enter the array of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the very presence of all my guides, those lights of this world who are yet to appear, those sequentially turning the wheels of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, final perfect peace. May I achieve the power of swift magical emanations, the power to lead to the great vehicle through every approach, the power of always beneficial activity, the power of love pervading all realms, the power of all surpassing merit, the power of supreme knowledge unobstructed by discrimination, and through the powers of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may I achieve the perfect power of awakening, purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at their root, diffusing the power of interfering forces. I shall perfect the power of the Bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds. May I free an ocean of beings. May I clearly see an ocean of Dharma. May I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities. May I fulfill an ocean of aspirations. May I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas. May I practice without discouragement for an ocean of eons. To awaken fully through this Bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of the awakening practice of all Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times everywhere. In order to practice exactly as the wise one, called Samantabhadra, all-embracing good, the elder brother of the sons and daughters of the Buddhas, I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise, may I dedicate just as the skillful Samantabhadra for pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure Buddha fields. I shall give rise to the aspirations of Manjushri for this Bodhisattva practice of all-embracing good, to perfect these practices without discouragement or pause in all future eons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through abiding in eventual activity, may I actualize infinite emanations. Limitless is the end of space, likewise limitless are living beings. Thus limitless are karma and afflictions. May my aspirations reach be limitless as well. One may offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds in 10 directions, and one may offer during eons numberless as atoms of the world, even the greatest happiness of gods and humans. But whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration and longing for highest awakening gives rise to faith just once, creates far more precious merit. Those who make this heartfelt aspiration for the Bodhisattva way will be free of all lower rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha infinite light. And even in this very human life, they will be nourished by happiness and have all conducive circumstances. Without waiting long, they will become like Samantabhadra himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. Blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family, attributes, and appearance, they will be invincible to vast interfering forces and misleading teachers, and all the 3 worlds will make offerings. Going quickly to the noble Bodhi tree, and sitting there to benefit sentient beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. Have no doubt that a complete awakening is the fully ripened result, comprehended only by a Buddha, upholding in mind by teaching, reading, or reciting this aspiration of the Bodhisattva practice, in order to train just like the hero Manjushri, who knows reality as it is, and just like Samantabhadra as well. I completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. With that dedication, which is praised as greatest by all the Buddhas gone to freedom in the 3 times, I too dedicate all my roots of goodness for the attainment of the Bodhisattva practice. When the moment of my death arrives, by eliminating all obscurations and directly perceiving Amitabha, may I go immediately to Sukhavati, pure land of great joy. Having gone to Sukhavati, may I actualize the meaning of these aspirations, fulfilling them all without exception, for the benefit of beings for as long as this world endures. Born from an extremely beautiful superlative lotus in this joyful land, Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening directly from the Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction there, may I create vast benefit for beings throughout the 10 directions, with 1,000,000,000 emanations by the power of wisdom. Through even the smallest joy I have accumulated by offering this prayer of the Bodhisattva practice, may all the positive aspirations of beings be fulfilled in an instant. Through creating limitless merit by dedicating this prayer of Samantabhadra's deeds, may all beings drowning in this torment of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this healing of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanders in samsara, through the accomplishment of the scripture dazzling with Samantabhadra's practice, may all her realms be utterly emptied of all beings.
And so, as Venerable Nawang mentioned, our job now is to take everything that we've learned from Geshe, hold it in our heart and practice it full-heartedly. In that way, we continue his highest aspiration for each of us to realize great compassion, realize the ultimate wisdom, and to quickly attain our highest achievements. I also want to say that we would not have ever met Geshe Dadul without the invitation of Venerable Thupten Chodrak. Everyone here at this monastery, every source of teaching comes through that great sharing of our founder, abbess, and teacher. And so I don't know, did Geshe Dadul help with every single volume of the Library Wisdom of Compassion? He did so many things behind the scenes that, his name is not on the front covers of many books that he was involved in. But for here, of course, we definitely appreciate his involvement in, at the direction of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, helping Venerable children in the Library of Wisdom Compassion book series that she co-authored, or she has edited and co-authored with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So astute viewers might also wonder where she is. Don't worry. But Venerable children had a day medical procedure on Friday. And so she is recovering, and I assume has joined us from afar. But her energy and her presence and her guidance is certainly here. And so we want to thank Venerable children for inviting Geshe Dadul so many times to come to the Abbey. And at last he did. And all his time with us was short. I know his friends at Drepung Losling in Atlanta had him for many years. I know his friends at Drepung Losling monasteries throughout the world have been continually doing prayers since he went missing in November. But all of us, so many people in the world, inspired by him. And so with gratitude, may we do exactly what he taught us to do. So Venerable Kunga has completed a closing presentation.